Russell Wilson is not the MVP of the National Football League this season. Now, before the Seahawks fans get mad at me, Russ is top 3 in the MVP conversation. The last quarter stretch of the season has been questionable, at least for the star quarterback. Through his first 5 to 7 games, he seemed like the clear frontrunner for the award, starting off 5-0, then 6-1 through 7. But that 6th game against Arizona was when doubts started to come in. He threw 3 interceptions that week and lost to the Cardinals in a game they were favored to win. Then, the week after that, he threw 4 touchdowns and 0 turnovers in a win against the 49ers. But the next 2 weeks, he has a combined 7 turnovers to 3 touchdowns in back-to-back losses. Yes, you can blame the defense for those losses, but an MVP frontrunner quarterback should not have 10 total turnovers from week 7 to 10. That is not acceptable at all. It really has cost the Seahawks the past couple weeks, losing by 10 and 7 points, but the Rams game reality was 10, since Seattle kicked a field goal with just 25 seconds left. Some of his turnovers were just plain dumb. The 2 picks against the Rams were horrible throws. The first he could have just taken off to get the first down, as no defender was in the vicinity to tackle him before the first down marker. And the second was an out route that seemed so obvious it was a bad throw, because Darius Williams was in perfect position to jump in front and intercept it. Throws like that should not have been made in a game where they were down basically the whole time, one being midway through the 4th quarter. That 4-game stretch has dropped the Russ from the front runner to somewhere in the top 3, with my other candidates being Mahomes, Kyler Murray, or Aaron Rodgers. However, even saying everything I just said, it is not really Russ's fault, because technically, by my definition, he's the most valuable player in the league. Without Russ, the Seahawks would be horrible, which at this point is obvious. But that is not how the award has been given out in the past. It usually goes to a player, usually a quarterback, that has great stats on one of the top teams, or even has changed the game, like Lamar Jackson did last year, for example. The reason why Russell Wilson has more turnovers is because, for the first time forever, Pete Carroll and the coaching staff listened to doubters and let Russ cook, as they were mostly a running team as of the past couple of years. It seemed good at first, but when the Seahawks started to play good defenses, have injuries of running back, amongst other issues, it began to go downhill. Against teams over 500, the Seahawks are 2-3, only beating the Miami Dolphins and the Arizona Cardinals. Again, to his credit, defense has let up a lot of points, but in those 3 losses, he has not performed too well either. In the game on Thursday Night Football against Arizona, he performed decently, throwing for 197 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is not what you're looking for from an MVP candidate, throwing for under 200 yards, but he also only had 5 incompletions. Now, for me to go out there and bash Russ would be stupid. That is not what I'm doing. As we all know, Wilson is a top 2 quarterback in the league and may be the best and most valuable quarterback to a team. But considering the fact that players like Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers are doing similar things to compete for a very stat and win-driven award, I think at this point, there's no shot that Russ comes out of the 2020 NFL season as the MVP, especially considering the amount of turnovers he's had as of late. Now, neither of those quarterbacks are doing the carry job that Russ is, but the stats are similar. I think both teams will finish with more wins, and the Seahawks will most likely finish second in their division behind the Cardinals, even though they're first right now, which never really helps a player's case to the MVP if they cannot win their division, whether it is their fault or not. Let's look into the past few MVPs. Of the last 10 MVP awards given out, 9 of them are quarterbacks who had one of the best records in the league. Since I just said the Seahawks won't win their division, it kinda means they won't have a top record in the league. Now I know they're 7-3 right now, but I could see them falling off a little bit, being like 11-5-ish, and I don't think that's good enough to win the MVP, considering the fact that last year, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens went 14-2, and the year before that, the Chiefs went 12-4, and the reason Mahomes won the MVP that year is because he had 50 touchdowns, so you can't really blame the voters for that. Although Russ is putting on a historic carry job for the Seahawks, with almost no defensive talent even with Jamal Adams, who's not performing to his Jets level, and Bobby Wagner, the lack of help around him outside of Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf is a really big issue, causing the small downfall in his MVP odds. The O-line has not played well, having allowed 33 sacks, and Russ has been pressured on 25.2% of his dropbacks. There's been almost 0 production in the rushing game due to injuries in the backfield. It got to the point where Alex Collins, a player who has not been on an active roster since 2018, was the starting running back after DJ Dallas and Travis Homer failed to produce, and all 3 of those players are averaging 3.7 yards per carry or worse. It also does not help that they're in a division where they have to play the Rams defense twice a year and the Cardinals offense twice a year. Those 2 groups are beyond talented, and it is near impossible for a team to stop them. So for us to make it out of alive of these games is remarkable due to how bad his back must be hurting from carrying Seattle this much. According to my definition of the MVP, Russ is that, but the voters and I simply do not think the same. The MVP is very stat-driven, along with wins, and I do not think the Seahawks have the talent around them to be a top contender in the NFC, which will make it near impossible for him to win the award. Sitting at 7-3 as of Week 11, the Seahawks have the record to potentially win the division, but like I stated, the all-time horrible defense will hold them back from coming out atop of the NFC West. Since I believe Russ is slowly falling out of the contention for MVP, who do I think will win? Well, it is between the three people that I mentioned earlier: Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers. Even though recency bias exists in all awards, I believe Mahomes has the best shot to win. Through 9 games, he has 25 touchdowns, 1 interception, and is 8-1. Rodgers is also doing great with 26 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and the team is 7-2. But since Mahomes is the face of the league, I think there's a shot Rodgers just gets scammed of having a real chance. Kyler, to me, has a better chance than Rodgers due to his rushing ability, having 10 touchdowns and 604 yards on the ground to go along with 17 passing touchdowns. That's a very similar record at 6-3, and like I said, I think they will come out atop the NFC West. In total, I think Mahomes gets it, since he's leading the second best team record-wise, best team in the league in my opinion, is putting up great numbers, which is always how winning MVP goes. If it is not Mahomes, it's really between Kyler and Aaron Rodgers, obviously, and I want Rodgers to take it home so he can get his 3rd MVP and cement himself as a top 5 quarterback of all time, if he has not already. Now, as a Patriots fan, I really shouldn't be saying that, but watching him on the Pat McAfee show really has changed my opinion on him, since he's just a funny guy. For Russ to take home his first ever MVP, and first MVP vote, he will have to finish with a top 2 or 3 record in the NFC and calm down the turnovers, which he did on Thursday, but he also did not have an amazing game. While not bad, not MVP level, especially when he played against a statistically average defense, passing-wise. I wish Russ the best the rest of the season, and I hope he wins MVP, since he has been underrated in this conversation his whole career, but personally, I don't think he will. With all that being said, that is it for me, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Fanatic Sports. I hope you all liked the video. If you did, please subscribe and hit the like button. It only takes 2 seconds. Also, follow me on Instagram at FanaticSports25 and on Twitter at FanaticSports. Now, before I end the video, do you think Russell Wilson will win the MVP? And if not, why and who?